as a UI designer, and I would be joining interview bit in the month of June as product designer. So I would be starting here, right? So first, this is not a presentation. This is a conversation with you, and we would be talking about most probably we would be talking about things, and you need to answer me those things. Very simple and basic, interesting questions would be there. So let's get started. Okay. The first thing, I just want to make sure you people know why design is important, and like, so that's why I just put some basic questions to put here. So like, what is your most lovely great product? It could be anything. It could be physical, digital, could be anything. You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat, whatever you feel free. So put your thoughts in the chat or unmute yourself. If anyone can give. I guess I can give mine. Okay, someone is answered. Pokemon games. Okay,
Apple
nice.
products.
Sorry?
Apple products.
Apple products. Yeah, that's completely fine. Okay, so if I would talk about mine, in physical product, I would say mine is Caesar. The reason being, Caesar is, Caesar is here between us from around 400 BC. And till now, no one could able to change its design. Why? Because it's simple, is easy to use, and anyone can use it. It is something that no one can change, and everyone found it easy to use. There is something I found the best design right now until I can see whatever I can see around me as a physical product. So this is my answer. Anyone want to answer anything? Could be physical, digital. Still waiting for the answers if there is any.
Door handle.
Door handle. Okay, it is little like conflicting. If you had heard about the door handles, when you go to the malls, there is something pull and push thing, and this is bit confusing, right?
Okay.
So I'm not sure how it is a lovely product because it is confusing to meet. I'm not sure about you, but yeah. So this is thing. Designer among said pencil. Yeah, definitely pencil is a super tool. Like, yeah. Anyone else wants to share something? Cool. I will move forward. And here are some products you will enjoy for sure. Would you want to take tea in this kind of mug, or would you want to pour tea from this kind of jug?
Neither of the two.
Sorry, Ashish, can you repeat?
We can't enjoy like we can't enjoy the tea in both of these.
Right. Absolutely right. Can you imagine how would you drink from this cup? Like, how would you hold this cup? Tea is probably hot, and you could not drink like this. So this is one. These two are examples of bad designs. So this is why I want to tell you how important design in life is. If we make bad products, then eventually it could hurt ourselves in any way. It could be financial, it could be physical, or it could be anything. So next, you will enjoy this dinner too. Can you eat something with this fork? Probably no. This is an example of bad design. Okay, no. Manav say no. Right. Next thing I would show is, can anyone explain what this man is trying to do?
I guess that's an ATM.
Right. This could be an ATM. We can thought of it as an ATM. And what happened is, actually a designer had made this ATM according to the people who have average height. But if we consider small peoples, then it is impossible to reach small people to reach that kind of height to the ATM. So we should consider, while designing something, we should consider all types of users while making something. So this is one example, more example of bad designs where the designer had not considered all types of users. One should consider all users while making these designs. You should consider, what if the user is blind? What if the user could not, his hand is not working properly? So this is one more important concept in design itself. If anyone has something question, ask anything in the between, please stop me or put in the chat. I would be happy to answer that too. Now, we would talk about the UI design. Uh, a user interface is like a joke. If you have to explain it, it's not that good. Uh, I think it is little tedious line. I will explain with the help of an example. For example, there are two services. One is Gmail, one is Hmail. Gmail is your generally which is provided by the Google. But for making an ID, what to do? You go to the Gmail, search for an username if it is available. You would sign up for that account. It's that easy. It's I guess 1 or 2 steps, right? But consider if there is any service exists named Hmail, and for that making a simple Gmail, you need to do 25 steps, and for that making that Hmail ID, you need to follow a YouTube tutorial to do that. So which one would you use, Gmail or Hmail? Probably
Gmail.
Gmail. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Probably Gmail. So this is one more thing that I want to tell. User interface should be simple. It is not like we need to explain people what you need to do and what you need not to do. So yeah, if I talk about UI design specifically, what exactly is UI design in layman language, then UI design is simply user interface. I mean it is the interconnection between the user and the interface. Interface, what is interface? Interface is something that user is seeing. If I would talk about in this PPT, you can see in this PPT, I use the blue color as the background, yellow color as my subheading or heading, and white color as my points for this points. And I use the Nonito Sans font. So this is all about the UI thing. Key which color, typeface, icons are using. This is about UI design. UI design consists of several things. Like it has different elements. It has theories. It has color. It has typography. Which fonts or typeface should we use? It has some UI principles, UI patterns. It has workflows. It has tools. It has dealers. We will talk about these things later in the PPT, right? First, see what are UI elements. These are just the basic building blocks of the UI. You can see first thing obviously color. You need to choose what color or what typeface or what font you're gonna use in your UI design. These are some elements like color, shapes, lines and textures. Space means you mean space. You can consider it as a uh, uh, I have not put an example right here. It's probably I would explain it with the help of example. So I have not right now, but consider it as
Negative space. Like you
uh,
needed space.
yeah, it could be negative space or it could be anything. Most probably negative space, but it could be any space. Like in between, you can see here we had put some space over there. Space like
Yeah.
the spacing between the things, layouts, things. So this is the forms, images. These are just the part of UI elements. And if you check this image, probably you will read this first and then you will read this thing and then this one and this is and then last you will read and you will read this at end this point. Why? This is there is some psychology behind like UI designers at like the if you heard about Don Norman, they read psychology books, they understand why and how things work, and from there are some principles or psychologies which we need to follow to make better interfaces. So this is one of the thing that I want to show you here too. Now, if you talk about the color theory, uh, color can speak as powerful as language. You know why McDonald's is using something yellow in their design? Why? Because it's something arousing a feeling of food hunger among humans. So there is something psychology related between colors and all these things. So it is important to choose wisely which color are we using. Sometimes, like generally, we denote red with the danger sign, but Zomato is using red itself as their brand color. Why? Because it sometimes even they're not using it in a danger way, they are using it to arouse a feeling of something hunger. So this is important to consider which color are we using according to the situation. Now typography is so important too. If you will see this, this statement reads, I will always find you. It is something looks like that that a person generally loves someone and he has written for her. But if you read this thing, I will always find you, it looks like a serial killer have written something for a person who he wants to kill. So see how typography is important here. Has completely changed the context. Any doubts? Okay, there is something in chat. Of course, Gmail. I think spacing is like spacing between two digits or anything. Yeah, right. It could be. Kaustubh Gupta. We can call it fonts too. No, fonts and typeface are different, Kaustubh. If I would say, fonts are like the thickness of the font, like light, midweight, or bold. But typeface are like Nunito Sans, Roboto. Typeface are different families of the fonts. So typeface and fonts are different things, not exactly the same. And if anyone has something to say or ask or share, please feel free to do that too. Okay, so I will moving forward. Now UI tools. If we talk about the UI tools, then there are a lot of tools in the market. But if you had recently seen, Figma is popular. There are few reasons why Figma is popular. It has somewhat features of live editing and many of features which other softwares won't provide. But it is up to you. Software doesn't matter at all. Okay, someone had put something in chat. We'll see. Will you show some examples of good UI and bad UI also? Okay, I had not put in the slides. What would I say? I had captured an image. Just a moment. Just a moment. I would show you from LinkedIn. Pictures. Some of your projects. My projects are good UI, not bad UI. So I will show you an example of just an example of bad UI. I will share my screen. Can you people see this image? Just let me know yes or no in the chat or by unmuting yourself.
Yes.
Okay. So I had captured it from LinkedIn. Someone had posted like for the ICICI Bank. This is an example of bad design. If you see, they had given that we had sent an OTP for the payment that they are asking for. But when you see on this first screen, there is not an option of payment of putting an OTP. But there is an option of scroll, and when the user scroll, the user would see the option of OTP to put the OTP right there. So this is an example of bad design. Like as a user, I if I want to see something on the same screen, I would just again send the OTP, resend OTP again and again, because I don't know, I need to scroll. The best solution to this would be like showing the OTP thing to on the main screen itself. There should be no scroll. So this is an example of bad design. And good design you can see everywhere, not everywhere, most of the times. Just told you about the example of Caesar. So yeah, I hope this clear your doubt, Ashish. Probably a bit more zoom, Costa Gupta. Sorry, I will share again. So you can see Kostub here, like it is requesting for OTP right now here. But as on the main screen, we could not see any option to enter OTP. But if we scroll a bit, then we can see the OTP. This is an example of bad design. I hope it is clear now.
And what about the good UI?
Good UI, good UI, like I told you I showed you in the slide itself, like good UI. I not put the example of good UI probably. Good UI is the example of, like I told you, Caesar, or it could be, if I talk about the WhatsApp. WhatsApp is something everyone can use, even from your mother to even old age people, even to you, even a kid can use WhatsApp. It is something that everyone can use it. Why? The interface is so simple that anyone can use it. So I would say this is another example of good design.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So I'm on the tools. Like there are a lot of tools, and you can use any tools for anything. And not for anything, I mean for the user interface design, you can choose your tool whatever you feel like. You can try these any tool. I would prefer you can try either Figma or XD, because these works on like Linux, Windows, and Mac. Anyone, you can choose any one of these tools, and these both tools are perfect. And up to you, and up to your company which tools they are using, so you can modify it yourself to that tool. Tools are not a big thing, and you can learn a tool in 1 or 2 weeks. And UI design, stop saying whoa, or start thinking why. It's not about how good an interface is, it's about why something works. uh, user interface is something about aesthetics, how beautiful is looking something. But always it's not the case, because let's say if I had given example of HMail, where you need to follow 25 steps to just register for an email ID, probably won't go to that HTML thing, whether it has beautiful UI. So it doesn't matter UI. You should have the good experience too. So both UI and UX work in the same line. It doesn't like UI would go in different way and UX would go in different way. So it's more about why than wo. And if any someone has something to say, input it here. And I would move forward if someone has nothing to say. UX design. The experience exists already. UX designers make it better. There is always an experience behind any product, whether it is bad or good, but it is the responsibility of a UX designer to make it good. So everyone is a UX designer. If I would talk about our mom, like your mom is a UX designer, my mom is a UX designer. She knows what bowl she need or what utensil she need to give you food at what time. Like if she needs to give chapati, she would probably use a plate. If she needs to give a soup, then probably she would use a bowl. So everyone is a UX designers, but you just need to bit empathize about the users and to understand what your users want. Now, UX is about empathy. You probably heard that buzz term empathy in UX industry. If I would talk about empathy in simple language, then it is something how you can relate to yourself. If someone is using an application and he's frustrated at some point, then you can consider, like you can think from his perspective why he's frustrated, and from where you got to know why he's frustrated, you can tell this thing to UI designers, and UI designer can improve it. So UX is about empathy. You need to empathize with the users, and everyone can empathize. You just need to have an empathy on someone. You need to know about him, her, and think about the users a lot. Now, UX is about users. UX is about how users feel using the product. As I told, it's about the experience, the whole experience the user's gonna feel while using any service or any product. It could be digital, physical, or could be anything. Yeah. If I would talk about this remote, then how you see, probably you can use this remote. Can someone tell me, like, do you found any error or something like you can't able to use that remote, or what's your view over this remote? Anyone can unmute yourself or put in the chat. Just say yes or no whether you're able to use this remote or not. I'm not considering anyone, just you.
It is a complex, but it can be used.
It
Like
can be used, yeah.
we have 2, 3 things to go, but it can be used.
Okay, so anyone wants to share something else? Yes, Manav Shah say yes. Yes, probably we all can use this remote. I don't think we ever feel any problem while using this tool.
According to me, it's not complex.
Okay, who is saying something? Ashish or Manav?
Manav said something.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm saying.
Yes, we can use this to so yeah, it's not confusing for us. I probably agree with you. It's not confusing for us. We can use it in any way we want. And Kostubit put something: two confusing button, power button and TV button. Power button and TV button. Yeah, don't.
Like we have matlab, lace button and that much functions that time according to me it's complex, but it's not complex.
It's an old bit. Like we have new remotes,
Yeah.
like have you seen
Yes.
Apple's TV remote? Like it's so clean, and we can like do every function with it.
Yes. Yes.
Right,
Yes.
right. So like for us, it is not that complex. Still, we can use this. And what if I would say about your grandparents? See this. If we talk about the grandparents, like the guy had put the photo and said their grandma fixed it. Because if you think from the perspective of grandma, she just need to move the channel forward or backward, or just need to increase the volume and decrease the volume probably, and she won't need any other functions. So for us, this is completely fine. And but for if we talk about old users, then this is not fine. And this is a real issue that I guess Apple has configured. And if you check their remotes or They had very simple interface, very simple, just few buttons, if anyone has noticed ever. So
Yeah.
this, yeah, so this is the thing which I want to tell you people, why you should consider every people while designing something. And this is here most probably we will talking about physical products, but probably in digital we should consider all people too. And have you probably, like, you were checking someone's DP on the WhatsApp, and probably have you called somebody? I did many a times. I did.
इस वीडियो कॉल
Yes, same.
करके उससे वीडियो कॉल ही हो जाती है.
Huh, right, right. Why is this? Like, you can read the chat. I'm pausing here for a moment.
Shubham, can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
A lot of times, it happens like in iOS, like a message comes, and
Hmm.
when you're checking it, by mistake, you have opened WhatsApp, you video call the person.
Yeah,
There's one flaw also.
yeah. Yeah, so this is something UI principles, or you would say this happens something when you don't test with the users, how would the user would behave when testing a digital product. This is the designer's point of view. Like, designer made something, it's looking good, aesthetically it looks good, and probably UX would be good too. But when we test with the users, we saw when they checked someone's DP, they by mistake press the call or video button. This happens a lot of time, and they need to improve this thing, and probably in updated version they might improve this thing. So yeah, this is about it. And if anyone wants to share something about this particular product, about WhatsApp, or anything you face similar to this, you can always unmute yourself. Okay, so I'm moving forward. uh, this is a popular meme if you had previously seen it. This is something what marketing requested. uh, if you would check about, let's talk about this thing first. This is something what customer really wants, just a simple tire hanging over the tree, just simple thing, consider this. But what marketing team has understand this thing, don't understand what means, they want to provide the best thing. But what the project team understood it like this, and this is what the designer understood it, and this is how the developer built it. This happens possibly when there is a lack of communication between the teams and no empathizing with the users. They actually want this thing, but they don't empathize with the users, and they don't talk with the users. The marketing team doesn't talk with the users how they're gonna be, what they exactly they want. If you ask about a user what they want, they could say anything. They don't know. You need to understand their point of view. They don't understand their point of view. They want this, but they think this, and then they told about other people they made this, and further it comes to this, which is of no use to users. So I'm again saying empathy is something buzzword in the UX industry, but it is important too. You need to understand from the user's perspective if you want to build great products. So anyone something wants to share, or I will be moving forward. UX UI, how to get started? Popular question, right? The only way to get good at something in life is doing it a million times. Yes, definitely yes. By practice you can be a good UI UX designer. And like, if you talk about in the design industry itself, there are a lot of terms: UI designer, UX designer, product designer, interaction designer, UX researcher. There are a lot of things, but you need to be good at something first. You can either master a tool, not mastering, you just need to understand a tool UI so that you can communicate with other people easily. First start, like, if you want to go in this field, I would say let's see what we can do. So to starting in this field, as I say, master the tool, master any tool. For specifically, I'm talking about the UI design. Master any tool. It could be Adobe XD, Figma, Sketch, InVision, anything. Master any tool, copy and practice. You probably heard about Behance or Dribble. You can search for UI designs anywhere. Just like if I search for Dribble, you can see a lot of good designs over here and there. You can just copy this image and paste in your artboard, and just copy this thing. By copying things initially, you would learn a lot, because copying is something important. Initially you don't understand how the interface would look, but if you copy something, the patterns would started staying in your mind, and you can seeing things how users see from their perspective. So first learn things by practice, and practice things by copying others design. It's not bad to copy others design initially, but when you're doing something for real something, then obviously it's not a good practice. And then read, watch, and get inspired. If I would talk about my part, I learn most of the things by reading. I read a lot of Medium articles and other things to understand how all the things work. So read, watch, and get inspired. Find your mentor. Mentor is important in today's life, because if you don't know what you need to do next, then probably you don't know how your future gonna look. So you need a mentor who can guide you at every step of your life. I'd seen something in chat. Let's see what it is. YouTube replaced tab with shorts in mobile. Big no no. Okay. Uh, yeah, like it's no for you maybe, but maybe if they consider the users, the India has banned TikTok, and it's very popular in India, and they want to gain that kind of popular, like the popularity in their application too. And people, I know we people think shorts is something cringe, but in India, if you talk about the about some rural areas or some like some other people, they found it some interesting. So for YouTube it might not be a big no but for us, yes. So this is my
Shivam, I
point
would
of
like
view.
to say something here. Like, generally, the algorithm for the reels is related to the customer what he's watching, right? Like, I don't
Okay.
get the reels of like cringe reels. I get reels about like I'm into coding and all, so I get reels about coding and all. So
Right,
I guess it's basically an algorithm that works for it.
right. So yeah, this is something true. I completely agree with you. This depends on our habits too, like what content are we following. So for like this is my just my point of view. Probably if someone is using the some platform properly, then it's good for us too. So yeah, so I agree with you point, Ashish. uh, so Kostum, do you have any point to say about this? You can unmute yourself anytime. It's good to like talk something, just like Ashish, unmute him to share his views. It's always good to share your views.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think most of the big creators discourage this change. Like, I use YouTube every day, and if I am searching for new videos, I would probably go to the Explore tab. But
Hmm.
now, when YouTube made this change, I was forced to watch 2, 3 shorts, which
Hmm.
were very cringy. So, so
Hmm.
I had to just see where the Explore tab is now. So it's on the it's on the top left, like a small text Explore.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
rather they should add add the shorts with the Explore tab. They have completely removed it from bottom.
I got it. Yeah, like see this thing. If we can justify this thing, this could be like depending on the probably on the user base itself. If they had when they did some user testing with the users or did some user research, probably they would find 60 or 65% people found YouTube shorts to be more amazing than Explore tab. So that's why probably they did this thing, and they may be testing this thing. If they found the analytics good, then they would remain this thing like at the place currently it is. If they feel like no, people are not using it and they are not getting such good analytics, then probably they would change this thing. You probably had seen Instagram doing this all the time. Sometimes they put shopping search or something, and sometimes they put search button here and there. They're just doing a by b testing, seeing what users exactly want. So this is one reason behind this maybe. So yeah. So where we like you need to find a mentor to go forward. Have a process. By process you mean for designing something, we probably not probably we for sure have some a process. Like for doing any problem, we first need to understand research something. There are a lot of processes in the, if it search something, you could find a lot of process in the market. uh, there are a lot of things going on, but in simple terms, if we talk about the process, then it is something first from the research. You first research about the problem, what exactly is problem. Then you define the problem by talking with the users, understanding their point of view. After understanding their point of view, you brainstorm yourself, like you put your ideas, thoughts, make some wireframes over this, and then finally you come to the final design. So and then you test with the user. So this is a process. You first research something, then you make a problem out of the research, then you brainstorm over it, then you make low fidelity wireframes, then you make high fidelity wireframes. So this is a process. It's good to have process because it keeps you maintained in a like in a good way, and you can easily check where are you lagging, because it's an iterative process. You can anytime move from design phase to research phase. So it's good to have phase process. Sorry, it's good to have process. Learn to ask, as I'm mentioning right now. It's good to share your thoughts and ask questions as much as you can. It's always good. And share among whatever you design, whatever you make, share among on whatever social platforms you are, WhatsApp stories, Insta stories, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, anything. And be patient. It's a process. It would take time. You could be a good designer, developer, anything. It always takes time. So anyone has something to say? Okay. Double diamond, yeah, right. Double diamond is approach too for the different processes. As I said, there are different processes and different companies like IDF. I don't know. There are a lot of companies that have defined their own process, but you need to stick to your own one process that you follow and you think is good. Uh, Recent GitHub UI changes blew my mind. They made our lives easy. See, how I would see they made our lives easy. Like it's yeah, definitely they had researched properly and made the good UI. So like as in we see they had introduced a dark mode too, which developers most like the dark mode while coding, and it aesthetically looks good too. Yeah, and yes, so GitHub has done a very good job.
So can you just elaborate a little bit more, like when the idea of an app is in our brain, right? And then which process should we go through to create a UI project?
So you had an idea, right?
Yeah.
So if you had an idea, you first probably need to research itself, like research about the users, what users want. It's not about you had an idea and you propose to the market. It's not gonna work like that. You need to understand the user. Do you users need that thing or not? Like if I would say when iPod comes, they don't launch it suddenly. They launch it when the users want. So first understand the users need. Do they really want this thing? If yes, then probably if they need this thing, then you would first talk with the users. What are the current pain points or problems they are facing while using the same service, and understand their issues and see what and where you can improve. And after analyzing all those things, you can come to the mid wireframe, like made some designs, user flows, and then finally comes to the final design, because you first need to understand the problem itself.
Like I'm in first year and I'm from GTBIT. Like
Okay.
how should I do the market research? Like how should I get like what the market needs?
Market research, like first you need to see, like just consider one user who you think could be a subscriber or a user of your product. Talk to him what for the same thing, what exactly he's using currently and where he's facing problem, and see what current things are probably in the market. Read their what their customers are saying about it and talk to them. So this is about the market research. If there exists no product similar like you, then probably you need to find some user who needs that product and talk to him or her. Then you can uh, do something. Like without research or knowing the problem, you can't directly jump to the design phase.
Okay.
Yeah. How would Kostub ask, how would software developers make sure their UI is friendly, considering the case when there is no UI team? Probably they would fail. I would say simply, if their UI is not friendly, then unless and until their marketing is not that much good that they easily reach the people and they really solve the problem. If they are solving the problem, it doesn't matter the UI is good or bad. If they're really solving some good problem, then people gonna use it. So this is about this thing. For software developers, if they are really solving the problem, then it is fine. And Kumar 123 as I'm a first year student. Who what advice you can give me for excelling my development career? career. See, I'm not a core developer, and I probably not know about the development part. But still, if you want to know about development, then I would recommend first learn about what I know from my experience. First, learn about the DS and algo part in any language which you can learn. Understand the DS, understand all the concepts, and after practicing a lot of questions over different platforms, there could be anything called Trafficker and Geeks for Geeks, Yeet Code. Like these are the latter platforms. First, you would try about Geeks for Geeks and some basic problems which you can see, which you can get from online itself. So strong your DS and algo, and in the second year, you can probably, if you had good grasp of DS and algo, you can probably learn any development course. It could be anything web dev, it could be also ML or AI, or it's up to your interest where you want to go. So after this, in third year, started apply for internships as SD, as whatever role you want to, and that's how you can be a good developer, I guess so. So yeah, Kaustubh said, got it. That's why design matters. Another thing, Google Play Store replaced the hamburger menu with search bar. I had not seen that, so I could not say anything about this.
Shivam, I had a personal question.
Yeah.
Uh, the thing is, like, I have been designing for quite some years. Like, I was into like Photoshop and illustrations and all. Then I switched to UI design. Now I
Okay.
see everyone is doing coding and all, development, like front end
Hmm.
development.
Hmm.
So, if I want to be a UX lead, do I need to know about how the front end technologies work?
You need to know about how they work, but you don't need to work how, like, you can make them work. You just need to understand, like, what you need to understand, what is an API, how you can attach an API to something. You need to understand the terms, but not know how to code. So this is not an thing. If you're going to be a UI engineer, then probably yes, you need to know how to code beautiful things and make beautiful animations. But if you are a UX designer or UX lead, then you don't need to know how to code, but you need to know about the terminologies, and you can easily communicate with the developers.
One more question, like, being a UI designer is better or being a front end developer, and what's the difference between both of them?
As you said, it's a designer and developer. Designer who designs something only about the interface. It's about the how the interface gonna look. There should be no functionality. But if you talk about the front end developer, then it's about the interface too. But he gonna develop that part too. It's not only about design. He gonna develop that part too. If you're talking about the scenarios or job possibilities, then both fields are good. It's always good to have some extra skill. If you know how to code, then probably it would help you in your career wherever you go. And also, like, if you know about bit about code, it's good to have, because you can easily communicate with the developers in any organization where you would be working later on as a UI designer. So it's good to have you learn code, but it's definitely not necessary, and you can probably find a lot of jobs, internships in UI design itself. So that is not a case if you're thinking about.
Shubham, can you also recommend us some good UI tutorials like on YouTube which we can follow?
You go for the tutorials. Like, if you want to learn about the tool something, then I would say just check for, like, Chetan KVS videos. He had a full web design course in Figma. You can check Chetan KVS video.
Okay.
And apart from that, you can check Puneet Chawla channel. He made
Design
some
Wings,
good,
right? He's from
not
Design Wings.
he had a different, like, Design Wings is an institution where he, like, enrolls students by paying when you need to pay them. But I'm talking about their YouTube channel, which is free. So probably I'm not recommending Design Wings to you. I'm recommending the YouTube channel. So I'm not sure how is Design Wings. So you can definitely, but you can check his YouTube channel too. And apart from that, if you had heard about, Google has recently launched a UX design course. You can check that too. If you said you are from GTVIT, so I guess IPU has itself has some, like, Coursera uh, ad facility where you can enroll the course for free. You can check that thing out. You can probably get 7 courses almost for free from
How do
Coursera.
you do that? How do you do that? Like, I don't know.
Like, your teachers have probably told you about the Coursera ad facility. So you can check it once. It's Coursera Udacity. I guess it's Coursera. So you can check it once. Yeah, it's Coursera. So you can check with your teachers itself, or you can take it on on audit basis too. It's free of cost on that thing. Just check that thing.
I had checked it out. We have to pay some 1,500 or 3,000 per month, I guess.
I don't know. See, like for me, like when I
We have to buy the Coursera subscription, actually.
yeah, probably because our college, my college has, I guess, given that thing, so you can
Yeah.
talk with your teachers once. Uh, any good courses to pick UI UX skills? As I told right now, what are these are the, I will put the channel names too. Puneet Chawla, and doesn't gonna teach you course, but there are some tutorials over there. Chetan KVS. There are a lot of good designers in the market, and if you need anything, you can any course, you can always ping me on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, anywhere. I would be happy to help you out. So I guess this is it, and this is the last slide that I have. If you have any question, please go to keep it yourself. I'm not Google, so I'm just kidding here. You can ask any questions right now if you had more questions, anything. Last question: when LinkedIn roll out dark mode? uh, I'm not sure. You need to talk to their design team, and probably you can hack that feature if you are using Android phone. I'd seen something people doing, so you can check that thing out. Or YouTube. This competitive coding is really that important that without it you can't survive IT field. uh this is not a thing, but as I told you, in first year, first have a good skills over DS and Algo. Once you're good, you think you can solve each problem of DS and Algo, then go to different platforms like Lead Code or Code Chef, and solve problems there. So like competitive programming, I'm not sure it's that much necessary, as in most of the developers, like if you talk about Amazon's test and other companies that are coming to a college, they don't look for competitive thing, but they just, you need to have a good grasp over DS and Algo. So I'm not sure ki you probably need a good competitive coding thing. You just need to have a good skills grasp over this DS and Algo. Good session, had fun, tried it. Oh, thank you, Ashish and Kaustubh. Yeah, it became more terrible. Obviously, when you make settings with your phone, it gonna crash or make more terrible. So if you had questions, then you can ask, or if you want to ask me something, then yes, I'm here. Results are out. Yeah, results are out for IP exams. So I guess this is it from my side, and you can ask, share something, anything with me if you want to. Informative session. Thank you for time. Thanks a lot, Nikunj.